Now, taking back control of UK fishing waters is their slogan, which might just become a reality, as ministers met today to debate new measures for fishing in British waters post-Brexit. Following around 18 months of talks with industry bodies, this will include a new package of measures to help the fishing industry thrive. Now, let's speak to our economics and business editor, Liam Halligan, with On the Money. Well, there's nothing fishy about this.
Well, let's have a little look at it, Patrick. I'll see what you did there. So, look, the UK fishing industry, it is relatively small. It's just less than a couple of percent of GDP. But it's really vital for certain parts of the country. It's not just the fishing towns themselves. It's also they drive local economies. We know a lot of the poverty in the UK is just inland from coastal communities. So for many, many of these fishing communities in the West Country, up in Scotland, down in Sussex, in East Anglia, Brexit was really for them a kind of holy grail, and they thought they'd get a much better deal. And indeed, Mark Spencer, the fishing minister, was in Shoreham-on-Sea earlier today in West Sussex. He says he's unveiled this package that's going to help those fishing boats that are less than 10 metres. That's about two-thirds of the 4,000 or so working fishing vessels that we have in this country. The minister says he wants to release the cap on the quotas that those small vessels can fish, allowing those small, often family-run businesses to make more money. But as a quid pro quo, DEFRA, the ministry, wants to insist, after a pilot scheme, that these small vessels have cameras and sensors on them so DEFRA can monitor exactly what is being caught. So GB News asked the Fisheries Ministry whether or not, because these cameras and sensors, to fit them, maintain them in, harsh conditions can be very, very expensive, we thought we'd ask on behalf of Britain's fishermen whether or not there'd be government grants for this. And this is what the minister said.
So I think technology really is going to help in the future, and I want to work with the fishing sector to make sure we embrace that technology. It means we'll get better data, which means we'll be able to be more sustainable into the future. And of course, we want to listen to the fishing sector about the challenges they face, and we're doing a consultation at this moment in time. That conversation is ongoing about who will pay for that equipment, but it does benefit the government, and it also benefits the fishing sector.
OK, so is Brexit delivering for our fishing and coastal communities?
Well, not in what the minister just said, that there probably won't be any grants for there's going to be a consultation. Well, he clearly doesn't know. If the answer was yes, there will be grants, he probably would have said yes. Look, I've spoken to lots of fishing folk over the last few years. They were meant to be the community that really benefited from Brexit. Though I have to say, 2016, the political class spent, 4 or 5 years arguing about it. We only formally left in 2020. The reality is, Patrick, still between 60 and 70% of the fish caught and landed in British waters are going to France, Spain and Italy.
Ridiculous.
That's one thing to say. The other thing to say is that fishermen complain bitterly, assurances that waters up to 12 miles from the UK would be reserved for British boats. Well, they're completely being blown out of the water, frankly. So returning your play on words. There's now a 6-mile limit, and continental boats can fish right up to that limit, which is something that the fishing industry feels bitterly betrayed about. And in general, here we are in 2020, the number of active fishing vessels and full-time equivalent fishing-related jobs in the UK in 2020-2021, it fell 6% from the year before. So I wish Britain's fishing community well, but on the strength of what we've seen so far, there doesn't seem to be any particular post-Brexit bonanza.
No, and there really should be. And I would say as well that there is absolutely no excuse for it not being, because these are our waters. If it's our waters and we voted for independence, and Boris Johnson had the audacity to wear that tie with the fish on it, didn't he, when he got Brexit done? I mean, this is a community that we really do owe, and he's getting pillaged. There's something, I think, visibly horrific about our own waters being pillaged by foreign boats, and then the contents of that being used. Look, Liam, we could talk about this all day, but Liam Halligan there, thank you very much, our economics and business editor. Just keep your eyes and ears on that one, because we're not going to let that one go. Liam's definitely not going to be letting that one go, so you can expect a lot more on that story in our fishing communities right here at GB News in the coming days, weeks and months. But